We're in August now and we're headed into September. Whether there's going to be a rate hike or not remains to be seen. We'll talk about everything that you need to be doing, whether you're buying, selling, or renting, all the recent numbers and more. Let's get going. Okay, so in the event that there will be another percent rate increase with the overnight rate, which will impact the borrowing costs of many of us, what to do and then how to respond. I think personally it's a bit aggressive. I hope they don't take that path because they need to calculate the response. The market response as well overall because it's really reducing the affordability and we don't want to go into a scenario where we'll get close to a false recession because that may have more of a negative impact on the economy as a whole as opposed to the gradual inflation that we're witnessing right now. Again, it is something that is very difficult to deal with, but I think just the way the amount is accumulating may be one thing they may want to take a look at so that they're not too aggressive. So that's basically something that we'll witness or notice come September. And how you guys can deal with this, I think as I talked before in the previous videos, still variable rates are considering looking at the stats over the years are favorable, and I believe there may be fluctuations in the variable in the coming year or so, as well as fixed rates. I feel there may be adjustments from talking to managers and mortgage brokers at branches. There's a slight indication that there may be adjustments for lowering the fixed rates to begin with in the coming months, and perhaps if we have a bit of a control over inflation as we've seen in the past, the variable rates can get adjusted as well. We may not see the low interest rate that we've witnessed in the past little while, but this doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna head up into the double digits as we saw during the late 80s. So that's my take on it. We really have to see what's going to happen in September. I just hope they don't become that aggressive and the rate hike isn't as much. Perhaps a 0.25 or a 0.5% max will be ideal in my opinion. But again, leave it to the economists and see how things will entail. Just the politics has an impact on what they're doing as well. So we'll leave it at that. And if you are buying right now for investment's sake, I believe qualification is more difficult by banks. But if you're in a good standing, perhaps now would be an ideal time to purchase something, just because of the advantage of the pricing. In areas we've seen somewhere of a drop of between 8 to 12%. In some areas, so now will be ideal. And if you are planning to sell, again, it depends on what type of property you have and where it's situated. You may not really see us coming out of what we're into right now, at least for another year and a half. And come 2025, I think, considering the way I'm talking to, again, builders and the way they're really slowing the production lines, they're just very careful now. They're stopping the builds, and this shows me that there's still going to be an issue with our inventory. Although there are much more units on the market now, the number of buyers significantly outnumbers those active listings. It's just everybody's very careful now, watching the market, seeing what's going to happen. And come 2025, I feel when things are starting to get back to normal, then we'll see another jump. So, if you're selling, perhaps if you can wait until that point, but it's always a give and take, right? If you sell low, you can pretty much buy a lower amount if you're switching in property types, and if you sell high, then it's just you have to buy at a higher price. So it just depends on your affordability, your comfort rate, risk tolerance, and everything else. So let's take a look at the numbers for the month of July. We'll take a look at the general, and then we'll get more specific into each categories. Looking at the numbers for July, number of sales, comparing 2021 to 2022, we had 1,307 units sold, and whereas in 2022, 840. And look at the drop, it's almost 36% drop in the number of sales. And look in the average sale price for 2022, we had 716,000 approximately, and 2021 686,000. So still year over year, we're in it plus 4.5% above last year. It shows you something. We did really have a huge jump in the past 2 years. So in some areas, they saw anywhere between 15 to 25% increase in prices. So seeing that things are lagging now, it's not alarming considering the significant increase we've had in the past 2 years. Looking at the days on the market, average days a home sits on the market, 2022 20 days, and 2021 16 days. So that's increase of and change of 27%. Now taking a look at the residential market, and it's very interesting now how things are entailing, how things are changing, and looking at the active listings versus sold listings, and this is unprecedented and never seen before. The amount of the gap between the two for the active listing for the month of July, 1,578 and versus 574 sold. And last year this time you were at we were at 948 active listings and 915 sold units. So the gap is huge now. And what's happening is a lot of sellers are deciding to rent or take the property off the market unless they really have to sell. Then we're faced with that reduction of price and opportunities for some buyers to take on certain type of homes. Taking a look at the residential sold to list ratio, and we have dropped July 97.6% to asking, whereas it was 101.3% last year. And look at the trend here. It's seasonal as well. It's very important. It's important to see what's going to happen in September, October, because right now we're really into the vacation season as well. Everybody's getting back to the routine after COVID. So looking at the charts here and the trend, don't necessarily put what's happening on the interest rates. Rather, it may be seasonal as well. So that's interesting to take a look at and follow, see how it entails. Looking at the average sale price, we have dropped July 781,000 approximately. Year over year, we're still higher. Last year, this time we had 741,000. So we're still above, significantly lower than what we had before, close to 900,000 around February, March. But still higher than a year ago. Okay. Looking at the residential days on the market, normally a home now in July 20 days for it to sell, and 15 days for it to sell in last year July. And again, everything goes back to pricing and the seller expectations. I mean, if your expectation as a seller is that you want the prices to continue increasing, or you want what the other sellers sold for about 6 to 8 months ago, probably that's really unrealistic. What you have to really see is how much your property increased in the past 2 years, and then come to a conclusion. And I think when you get to that point, you will realize that you're still ahead of many sellers. Not significant necessarily to the ones 6 to 8 months ago, but still in a very good position. All right, so let's take a look at the condominiums. Looking at the active listings versus sold listings, again, we have a lot of inventory sitting on the market now. A lot of people deciding to rent or take it off the market. So active listings 658 versus sold 248, and last year this time we had 523 active listing at 388 sold. So the gap in the condominium market, the gap has significantly increased between the active and sold, but the trend is being kept because condominium market is slightly different than the freehold residentials. Okay, so taking a look at the ratio of sold versus list, and we're at 98.5, so slightly less than asking or list price on average. And of course, you know, the peak was about March, but year over year, it was July 2021, it was basically 100% to asking. So very close to asking. And yes, the average list price is dropping. That needs to be considered as well. Whether the average price is going up or low, you have to calculate or keep that in mind in your calculations. Now, more specifically, we'll take a look at the next charts and looking at the condominium sold average price. And we're looking at 424 or 425,000 average, and that's pretty much almost the same as last year. So the prices have dropped to what last year this time. So July 2021, 424,000. So that's not as significant as the freeholds. But then again, a condominium is its own beast, and it's got its own market. Number of days a home sits on the market for condos. 2022 July 21 days, and 2021 18 days. Not a lot of days in terms of how long a condominium takes to sell year over year, and pricing is everything. Pricing is everything, and the seller expectations. Now, the rental market and my predictions, you know, maybe we got to it a year sooner than expected because of the interest rates, but we're there. Like, I mean, the demand for the rental markets right now, for my listings, we're going to basically multiple offers in rentals. And look at this right now, it speaks for itself. Look at the gap that we had in October, November of last year, and look at it now, July 2022. We had active listings versus rented units, 574 active and 578 rented units. So it's basically lack of inventory. And what is happening right now? A lot of individuals who were thinking of buying now, they're going towards renting properties. These are qualified individuals that, you know, because of the circumstance, they decided to do it this way. And now we're faced with a lack of inventory in rentals now, and the rental price will significantly go up, much sooner than I expected, but that seems to be the case. Year over year, we had 487 active and 449. Again, this is a seasonal thing as well to a certain degree, but they've never been this close or surpassing one another. Looking at the days on the market, for rentals, July 2022, 23 days, and same last year, this time. So, to give you an idea, perhaps if you're qualified buyer, best time to buy. If you are a seller with you know, adjusted expectations, still a good time to sell. If you want to purchase, best time. If you want to sell with a premium price, you gotta wait a bit. And if you have an investment property, right now the rents are going to keep going up in the next little while until we see a little bit of a calm and adjustment, and see what the Bank of Canada is deciding to do with these rates, because just the unknown is pushing people to hold off or to rent. So that's my take on it. September, we'll see more. I'll give you more details and updates and what to expect. And as always, please do remember to like this video and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, take care.